Hi, this is 365801 and this is another reading wrap-up video, and this is for the month of November from the 1st to the 30th. So once again, I did have quite a good reading month, more so than I had expected because I'm supposed to be doing other things and I'm not supposed to be reading, but I was still reading even though I was like, no, you've got things to be concentrating on. So I did read quite a lot this month. In print, it's not that many. It's more than it was in October, but still not that many considering overall how many I read. But yeah, many of them were for specific reasons, like the Buzzword readathon or a reading vlog that I was doing. So yeah, let's just get into what I read. The first title is The Quiet House by Lily Morton. This is the second in the Black and Blue series, with Blue Billings being the first one that I read at the end of October. So I had kind of started this at the end of October and into November, and I have to say I absolutely loved it. It was a really good second volume in a series. It helped to build on what had taken place. The characters had developed a little bit more, the relationship developed a bit more, and some new characters were introduced, and you got a lot more interest with the fact that it was kind of taken from York and into a kind of manor house in the countryside, and the nonsense that went on in that house. I loved it. It was still, once again, very scary, but not, I don't think, as scary as, well, maybe there was parts of it that was still very, very scary. So it's kind of an interesting thing to be reading a male-male romance story, but actually be quite afraid for their lives, like, oh no, or the lives of other people, other characters that you end up loving, and you're like, oh, nothing better happened to that person. So yeah, The Quiet House was anything but quiet. And I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I am going to be on the lookout for more Lily Morton for sure. There's a couple of titles that she's got up on Audible, and I do have a couple of credits, so I might just be investing in a few more audiobooks from Lily Morton. On to the Buzzword for the month in terms of a print title, and that is Kaname Itsuki's Lost Boys. This is printed by June Manga, and it's kind of a BL retelling of Peter Pan, except there's no Peter. All the other characters are kind of there, and Wendy is no longer a boy. Wendy's no longer a girl. She's a grown-ass man, and this young boy who takes him to join the Lost Boys and be a father figure for them is it was a little bit disconcerting. I have to say, it definitely had the ick vibe. Kaname Itsuki has, I definitely think, kind of ventured into some of the shota in the past. This is an old story. I mean, this is like, even for June Manga, they published it in 2006. So when was it? 2004. So yeah, I would say that was 2003, 2004 was like peak shota time in Japan. For some strange reason, I think there was a lot of commissions. So there would be a monthly or a biannually manga anthology, and the mangaka would be given a commission, and they would have to write a story based on that theme for that particular volume. And I definitely think there was some shota going on at that point. Whether the mangaka themselves enjoyed it or not, they all kind of would participate because it was work. You know, like, here, can you write the story about this? Yeah, okay. And they get their work published. So I think pretty much every mangaka who worked around that time has some slightly disturbing works, you know, even if it's just a one-shot or something. This one is a full volume that verged on the ick for me, and so yeah, I would not recommend. And I was kind of I kind of thought I was gonna feel this way, and I felt this way, so I feel vindicated. It's not terrible, and I especially wanted more of the pirates. The pirate story was obviously like, there's the story I want to read, because there's some shenanigans going on there. But the flying boy and his father figure lover, not really one, unsurprising, that I liked. No, did not. Now the next, 4-volume series that I want to talk about is Lost Letters. This is Sakai Kusama, but I won't talk about it too much because I did do a video specifically dedicated to this, a reviewing BL video. I will put a link to it in the corner. It's the match seller, then Lost Letters volumes 1, 2 and 3, and they're all fantastic. It's wonderful, it's great. Go and watch that video if you want to know more of my thoughts. I do highly recommend, go and get it. It's on Sublime, digital only. Sakai Kusama is a brilliant mangaka and I love her work so much. So yeah, check out Lost Letters, a lovely historical BL. Now, almost right after I had finished reading Lost Letters, I then started on my vlog for I Hear the Sunspot. This is by Yuki Humino and published by One Piece Books. So yes, I will put another link up to that video. You guys don't need to hear me chatting about it again. Needless to say, it's a masterpiece. I love it. Rereading volumes 1 and 2, I'd read a few times, but rereading Limit volume 1 and 2, so the volumes 3 and 4 in the series, I hadn't read multiple times. So again, it was like, what happened? What? And it was actually like very like nerve-wracking to be reading this story again because I'd kind of forgotten what happened. I think I'd only read the Limit Volume 2 once all the way through. So I was like, what happens next? I genuinely cannot remember. And of course, the thing that happens every single time I read one of these volumes for the first time, I'm in floods of tears. And so for Limit Volume 3, I literally cried from the first page all the way through. So yes, if you're needing a really good, hearty read that you're going to feel fantastic about and you're going to love the characters, I cannot rate this high enough. It is such a good series and I'm so happy that we're getting more. I don't care in what form it comes, I will buy it. I love it so much. I love this. So 10 out of 10, recommend. So go check out my vlog. It's kind of long, as all my vlogs are, but it is quite a funny one for me to watch back. At the crying, mostly the crying. On to the next, and this is another one that I made a video about. This is a reviewing Male Male Romance, so I'll put a link to that video as well. This is A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. It's the first in I think a 3-volume series I think she's planning. But anyway, it's the first of a series. It's a sort of set in the historical period, Edwardian era, but a kind of alternate Edwardian era where there is magic, but it's magic in the kind of quiet, secret kind of way. So not everyone knows about it, except a guy who's working for the government ends up in the position of being the liaison for this magical society, and he's not supposed to know about it, and he ends up knowing about it. So yeah, and then of course there's a murder and a mystery and all kinds of shenanigans, and he meets another guy and the two of them just have kind of like a swashbuckling adventure, but it's not quite as swashbuckling. It's more sedate, country mansions and country houses and town and the country. Oh, it's so good. Hedge mazes and they talked about you know, what the country mansions look like and the interior design, and that like ticks all my boxes. I loved this. I really enjoyed it. Go check out my review if you want, and pick up a copy when it comes out on the 9th of December. I very much want a hardback copy if I can, because I think this cover looks amazing. Now on to the massive amount of digital titles that I read. I read a lot, and a lot of them were through Futekia. So the first one is Beast Storm by Mori Kuroi, And I have to say, I love this one. I was looking forward to it. I really was. The reason being, I have been following Mori Kuroi for a while on Twitter, and up until just November, she has been posting like skins for your iPhone or Android, like for your home screen or your lock screen. She's been putting some artwork up, and every month I've been doing it. So this whole year I've been having Mori Kuroi artwork on my phone every single month, except for November. She didn't post one. I was gutted. So anyway, I read this instead. I'm so happy this was posted up on Futekia, and I was very happy to see a couple of little translation things. And I'm gonna say, if you saw my tweet that loads of people seem to really love, I got loads of likes and stuff from that one. There wasn't just the wee, like he said a wee bit, you know. He then went on to use words like gonna and what was it? It was like gonna, havna, you know, it was like weird things that I was like, that's 100% the way that I talk as a Scot. So it really did feel like it, and it's not the only one. I've seen a few others recently where they've used we as in small, and I'm thinking, where did they pick that up from? Anyway, is the translator Scottish? Because I know generally who the translators are, but occasionally I've been spotting them and going, they don't always use that. Anyway, that was me. I loved spotting that and just laughing my ass off, and I did laugh all the way through. In his Sean Connery voice, he had to speak like that, you know. Sorry, that was a bad Sean Connery voice. Anyway, I love this. I love beasts. I do think it's hilarious when the beasts have ears and they also have human ears. And I'm like, what on earth is going on inside their head? Like auditory, like where's it? How many canals have they got for their ears and stuff? Like, is their hearing really that good? I don't know. I just think it's funny when they have animal ears and human ears as well. But I enjoyed this thoroughly. I love the little kid at the end because he's been on my phone all year. So I'm very, very happy that I read Beast Storm. I then ended up being a bit distracted by animal characteristics. So I clicked on that tag and just saw what was there. And the first one that I was like, oh, great, dragons. It was Talam, Nobody Knows About the Dragon Secret by Kazami Yuki. And I thought I'd give this a wee go. There's only 4 chapters, I think. So it was quite a short one, really quick read, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't anything that special. I was kind of hoping for more dragonness, but I have to say Talam as a dragon was super cute when he was all blushy and stuff. So yeah, it was an interesting little one that I enjoyed, and it gave me that kind of sweet feel, and so it did kind of make me want to read something cute and sweet and fluffy, but a little bit more spicy, just a little bit more spicy. So I ended up reading I Didn't Mean to Fall in Love by Suzumaru Minta. I feel like I've read this so many times. I don't know how many times. I love this story. I love the characters. I just think they're super, super cute. And I love Suzumaru Minta's work. I feel like it's sexy enough, but it's also kind of sweet. And there's an element there of coziness. I don't know what it is. Her artwork, her blushing ukes, they're just so cute and sweet and just lovely. It's like a warm blanket. So if you haven't read any Suzumaru Minta, you got to. I love her work. I think if her work was published, I would definitely be like, yes, I have to have that ASAP, because I would reread and reread and reread. And that's what I really like about some BL works. I'm like, Talam, yeah, great, read it, done. But Suzumaru Minta, I'm going to reread the shit out of this. I just love it so much. So yeah, I would love a physical copy of I Didn't Mean to Fall in Love. It's so cute, so sweet. I then moved on to Fragrant Beast by Ameshiro. This was another newer title that had just been put up, and so I thought I would give this a go. It was another Beast title, so I thought maybe it would be a good one. This one involved vampires and possibly werewolves-ish. I did not like this. I did not enjoy it. I found it really surface. I found it a very it had many of the tropes in it that I don't particularly like, and I found that I wasn't connecting with it at all. And it was a shame because it was supposed to be, you know, pretty spicy, but I didn't find it spicy because I wasn't connecting with the characters. I didn't really find that I liked them. So it was a bit of a shame. Did not really rate Fragrant Beast. I'd like to know if you've read it and you enjoyed it, what you enjoyed about it, because I couldn't find myself connecting with it at all. So yeah, Fragrant Beast, not one I will need to read again. So I did a video this month about reading a tag on Fotekia, but technically I read a couple of tags on Fotekia because the next one was The Beast and I by Hannah. And the tag that I read was male pregnancy. You can see where I ended up going with this, but still, yeah, I thought I'd go with male pregnancy, and there was only 2 under the tag, and that was the Talim dragon one, and then this one, The Beast and I, where beasts are all male except when they get some sort of mate, and then one of them becomes female long enough to give birth and then go back to being male again. This one is just a little one-shot, so it was really quick and easy to read, and even me explaining it is probably longer than it would take for you to read it. It was so short. It was supposed to be really, really spicy, but I think if you don't really connect to the characters that much, it doesn't feel as spicy. But I did think that the drawings were quite nice. It was cute enough, and it was a happy story at the end. So yeah, for how short it was fairly enjoyable. More enjoyable than the one I read before, so you never know. Length does not equate to pleasure. So the next one I read was Would You Like to Be a Family by Koyama. Now the image is the one from Tokyopop, but I did not read the Tokyopop version. I read the one on Fotekia because it is available through both of those publishers. This is a story about Takemura, who seems like he's just working. He doesn't have much of a social life, and he ends up having a connection with Natsui, who his co-worker, who's very like the grumpy sunshine, very much that kind of theme. And Natsui also has an adopted son called Mori, and Takemura ends up spending time with Natsui. They end up getting closer. They end up spending time with Mori. It's very familial. It's sweet. It's that lovely cozy blanket feeling that I really, really wanted, and it was just a really enjoyable story. I loved it. I thought it was really good. So I will be on the lookout for the Tokyopop version so I can have a physical copy as well, because I enjoyed it that much. It was great. I loved the artwork. It was very cute. It was very sweet. It had the family vibes. I wanted everything. Tick, 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 tick. So good. I definitely think it was funny how Mori interacted with Takemura. He was very much like, oh, you're okay, and then maybe you're getting too close to my Natsui. And I thought that was like, I can see a second volume coming on, a time skip maybe, an older Mori, a teenage Mori. Yeah, let's have that in the future. Now, after I had read one tag of male pregnancy, I thought I would read another tag with some male pregnancy, this one specifically, Omegaverse. So if you haven't noticed already, I have a vlog up. I will put a link to that video as well. Then I read everything that was under the tag Omegaverse on Fotekia, and there's not a huge amount. The first one that was there, How to Raise an Alpha, I'd already read when it came out, and I enjoyed that one. In fact, spoiler alert for the vlog, I think that's the one I still maintain is the best Omegaverse, and I put that in inverted commas because there's some others that had more. But the first one was From Bite Marks to First Love by Arinko, and it was okay. The artwork was fine. It had all the drama that you would expect. It felt kind of prosaic for an Omegaverse. A good standard for an Omegaverse one, actually. So if you were like, what could I expect from Omegaverse? This is kind of like what I would describe this very story. I then read There Is Only One Person Behind Me by Anmin, and this I would say is the one in inverted commas. There's like a series of different short stories, but only one of them had Omegaverse, and the rest of them all had just like obsession and situations that characters find themselves in and how they react. And that's kind of the theme of this one, and this was probably the most interesting. It's not one I would recommend to everyone because it's weird AF, but I really enjoyed that weirdness. It was great, especially the first story about I'm not saying because I don't want to spoil it, but that was a shocker to me. The next one was Alpha Squadron Al Ranger by Hiraduki Town. This was just silly nonsense, and it was fun for what it was, but please do not take this seriously in any way. It is not a serious manga. It is BL comedy, which is a niche version within a niche version. So yeah, Alpha Squadron Al Ranger, fun for what it was, but even silly comedy ones need something more, I think. The next one was My Destined One by Hansode, and this one I quite enjoyed. It was quite a good story, but it was also, a little bit prosaic in some respects as well. So I don't really have much to say about it, other than it was fairly enjoyable. It was okay. The next one, I Want Only You by Koi Wazurai Shibito, who wrote quite a lot of the ones I read, did like a whole series of Amigaverse stories. I did not really enjoy I Want Only You. No, not really, did not enjoy it. That was a series of different stories as well. Beyond the Other Side of the Moon, Amigaverse, also by Koi Wazurai Shibito. This was the teacher story and the student story, and it was teacher student Amigaverse. I loved the last panel that the mangaka did when she basically had the student say, "Oh no, I'm an Amiga, what am I gonna do?" And the teacher saying, "Calm down, it's okay." And that was the story. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty much the story. So it wasn't the worst Amigaverse story I've ever read, but it wasn't great. Then we had Even If It's Not Fate by Yoshimoto Senko. This was a weird one, but also okay. Like, it was odd. It had this weird sense of things going on in the atmosphere, but I enjoyed it enough. It was okay. I enjoyed it. Then we had Let's Meet at Tsukigagero, Red Light Omegaverse, Koi Wazurai Shibito's. Should have read this one first, guys. Should have read this one first before the teacher story, because the teacher wasn't a teacher at the time. He was a student. So, read that one first. The whole spicy chilies thing, I don't find it spicy. This is what I've really realised with the Omegaverse. If I don't feel the emotional connection between the two characters, if I don't feel a personal connection to characters, I don't feel that this is spicy. Why is it spicy? Why is it not spicy? That's what I'm asking. Why is it not spicy? And it's because there's no emotional connection there. Maybe I'm demisexual. So there you go. I do not recommend this one because it is sad AF. This was the real trauma, depressing kind of Amigaverse story that I also enjoy. So yeah, as much as I want to say no, don't read it, I kind of enjoyed that sort of depression. Which leads me on to The Omega Call. This is by Kobuchi. I did a review of this back in, I think, in March or April. I'll put a link if I have it, if I know which one it was. And finally, there was only one chapter and an extra that I needed to read, that I needed to wait for. And, oh my goodness, the story was depressing. And I still don't think he ended up with the person that he really, in the end, should have ended up with. And yet, at the same time, I can't see him ending up with anyone else because they're all awful. They're all awful people. And this mangaka tried to just tie this up with a bow at the end. This story was not for tidy bows. This poor boy, trauma and assault and straight up rape, not happy about it. No. I do not recommend the Amiga Call, and yet at the same time I so do. It depends what mood you're in. If you want someone to be just put through the ringer and you want to watch it like a car crash and be like, oh no, then yeah, read this. But I would not read this if you were looking for, happy families. I just mentioned one that you should. That's the one you should be reading. You've got to think about your mood. Mood reading is important. The last one I read was The Revolutionary Alpha by Kotaro Kashima, and I've got to say the artwork is stunning. Artwork is just beautiful. It's lovely. The story itself, pretty surface, not really interested. It was okay, but artwork, stunning, especially the artwork on the front cover. Chef's kiss, really good. So that was my Omegaverse vlog. Go check it out. The link will be up. Now the next thing I read was Trial by Torin 1000 Million. This is just a one-shot story about two co-workers who end up getting it on very quickly, as it would be. It's really lovely artwork, and actually for such a short story, once again, you know, I'm going to say it, a short story can sometimes convey so much more than a whole tankobon full of story does. And sometimes, you know, you want that short. It's a skill. And I have to say, Torin 1000 Million did a really good job of conveying that in such a short page count. Trial will be going off of Futekia fairly soon, so if you haven't had a chance to read it yet, it's only one chapter long. It's like a doujinshi size. Go and have a wee quick read, and then it'll be gone. Okay, so that's your chance. Take it while you can, because I actually really enjoyed this. It was really quite good. Now, as it happens, I probably have not had enough animal characteristics and, you know, children, male romance, that, you know, babies, family dynamics, marriage, all of that stuff. So I ended up reading Marriage to the Wolf, The Tale of an Interspecies Union, Inui Hana. I'm not sure, is there going to be more of this? Are they writing like a sequel to this, the mangaka? Do you know? Does anyone know? Let me know. I want to be in the know, because I really enjoyed this. The poor little rabbit boy who gets kind of just sold off, really. Is there any other way to say it? He was given as a sort of offering, tribute, and a hostage. Yeah, basically. The rabbits are, unfortunately, they don't have a lot of crop that's viable to be able to see the whole clan through the winter. And the wolves come and say, hey, can we have someone of marriageable age for one of our highfalutin top wolves, top dog, you could say. The kids, they need to get married, and we need it to be an interspecies union rather than a wolf with a wolf. Inbreeding, obviously. This is the tale. Cautionary tale of inbreeding. Here you go. This is what happens when you're inbred. Bad things happen. Anyway, this poor wee rabbit has to go and be married to the wolf that is a grumpy bum. So it's once again that sort of grumpy sunshine type dynamic, which I quite enjoy. And it was just so much fun, and I loved it. There was a couple of little moments in it, but I've been wanting to read this for a while because I've seen the artwork and I've just thought, oh, that looks like something I'm gonna enjoy, and I did. I enjoyed it. Something about animal characteristics this month, I wanted it. Give it to me. I need more. Especially if it's got, you know, a bit of Japanese clothing and nice old buildings, and just some culture in there and ceremonies and stuff. I just love all that. It just is really, really good. But I enjoyed the slow burn of this, because it didn't, their relationship, they're kind of forced proximity, but they don't really develop feelings until they've moved on quite a long time, and they have this full month where they have to be together, but they're not. And it's lots of things happen. If you haven't had a wee go already, Inui Hana's Marriage to the Wolf was very good. Now, it was at this point that I thought I really need to read some actual physical titles in my collection. It kind of needs to happen. So I got out my Secret XXX Therapy Game Volumes 1 and 2. This is by Meguru Hinohara. And I had purchased Therapy Game Volume 2, but I hadn't actually read it yet. And I had said to myself, give yourself a full reading, and I will be picking up the next, is it RE or something? It's the next 2 volumes anyway. They're not out yet. I think one comes out in December, maybe in America. So hopefully it'll come at some point in January in the UK. So yeah, it'll be a next year's read for the next 2 volumes. And I really enjoyed rereading Secret XXX. I love it. I think it's one of my favourites. I really enjoy that. And yet every single time I read it, I am absolutely flabbergasted at the fact that they end up having sex the very first chapter. Like, what? Because in my head I'm going, oh, it's that really cute, sweet, fluffy, bunny shop. Oh, it's so sweet, it's lovely. No, they fucking do it. They do it, and they do it like proper. Like, no censorship. There's dicks out. They are fucking. It's really proper fucking. Like, I've said this quite a lot, but it's a lot. In the first chapter, he takes that boy. I just thought it was hilarious because I'm reading it going, oh, it's the sweet one. I love this one. It's so cute. And boom, he takes that kid's V card and he doesn't even know he's taking his V card. Oh, it's not until afterwards that he's like, you're like, yeah. So yeah, Shohei and Itsuki are just adorable together. I love how it didn't take them long to realise, yeah, they're like, yeah, we're it for each other, and they're happy and they're smexy together. It's really very, very smexy. And I love the interactions with the other people, and the mum. Oh, the mum! I love the mum. I can't not love everyone in this whole series. So yeah, then I went on to Therapy Game, and oh my goodness, Minato, Shizuma, I love them. I love Minato's tattoo, and someone apparently in Japan, a fan of Meguru Hinohara, she got an actual replica tattoo done of Minato's around her ankle, and I'm like jealous as hell. I so would love to have that because it's just beautiful. And I have a dainty ankle. Like, the rest of me can gain weight, but my ankles always stay dainty. No cankles for me. So that would be the perfect place. I know it would always look okay. Shizuma I love. He's like proper good, what did they call him? Prime real estate? He's prime real estate, He would be a good boyfriend, but he'd also be a good partner. And I think that's why he's so lovely and perfect for Minato. He just knows how to get in there. And he just thinks he's the best. He just thinks he's gorgeous and sweet and lovely. Oh, they're so cute. And it was fun to read the second volume because it was that moment when they all find out, oh, siblings with siblings. Which is just great. I really enjoyed the second one. I'm looking forward to the rest. I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. I'm going to enjoy them. I'm going to love them. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to read them and read them and read them. These guys have got rereadability all over them, and that's the best kind of purchase to make because you're going to enjoy it no matter what every time you read it. Now, after I'd had an enjoyable time reading some physical copies, I went back over to the digital and went to Shinjuku Lucky Hole. Now, this is by Kumota Haruko. This is probably the number one title that Frutekia got back in 2019 that really put them on the map, as it were, for a lot of Fujo who were so impressed that they had been able to get a big name title that people had wanted any of Kumota Haruko's work in print. We still do. We want them in print. But to get Shinjuku Lucky Hole, that was in the process of still being, I think, published in Japan. So it wasn't completed because this is a 2-volume series. So yeah, it was kind of like a big get for them. And I think they managed to get a lot of people to subscribe at that point because people wanted to read it and read it legally and support Kumota Haruko directly, which is great because a lot of people will want to support their favourite mangakas, but it's difficult if their works aren't brought over in English, or if they're brought over by companies that are really shit. So yeah, I think this was a big one for Futekia, and it's the one that really put them in a position within the market, in the English market anyway. So it'd been such a long time, because when I saw it I was like, oh, fantastic, and they've got the second volume coming, yay, brilliant. And then I never actually picked it up until I actually started subscribing, and then it was always in the back of my mind, oh, you still need to read that one, So I did. It's a 2-volume series. It's ooh, but also yay. How to describe Shinjuku Lucky Hole? It's a lot of yakuza, a lot of porn industry stuff, a lot of people getting, in a sense, exploited. It's exploitation, and there's a lot of drama in the second volume, much more so than I had expected, because the first volume is kind of silly exploitation porn rather than there is still some yakuza stuff going on, but the yakuza stuff that's more serious, I think, comes in the second volume mainly. But it ends and you're kind of still left in a So I'm assuming that Kimoto Haruko has some like doujinshi or other things that she sells that might have other stories of these characters, but they're fun and I enjoyed it, and it was good to see this kind of side of her work, the much more sex heavy side, because a lot of her stories are kind of sweet and childlike, but they still have an element of darkness to them for being so, lovey-dovey kind of feeling. They're very rounded. I love her art style, and I think, is it Itoshi no Nekkoke? I don't know if we're ever going to get that in English, but I would love to be able to read that. That's like her number one. I think I even have some of her character good stuff from it that I bought when I was in Japan, and I have never read it. So, never mind. After that, I ended up going to read a new title that I think just got put up at the end. This was November 27th, yeah. So the 26th, 27th, that's when it got put up. I'll Make You Cry by Nozomu Hiiragi, who is the same mangaka who did Same Difference, which was a really long series in Japanese. We only got the first volume by Jun Manga. They only published volume 1. And it also got a BL drama, a live action drama, which looked terrible. But the series itself, the manga, was really, really popular. It was like massively popular. And then she did the Oyajina one, where girls became old men, maybe vice versa, I don't know. It was kind of like a weird thing. Anyway, her work is always a little bit interesting, and I was quite intrigued to find out what I'll Make You Cry was all about. And it's about like Yankees, kids in school. One's they've been together since they've been like in pre-primary. They're super cute. They're so cute in the nursery. Best friends, always together. Very silly hairstyles. And fighting people in gangs and stuff like that. All the kind of general stuff that goes on. One being incredibly strong and the other looking like he's not, but they actually are. And it had shades of like tightrope and stuff like that. And it was just all about them one of them knowing that the other has like feelings for them and is in love with them, but that both are too cowardly to actually say to the other about their feelings. And even though they're really strong fighters and stuff. And that's basically the premise. And I really enjoyed it, and it was super sweet, super quick to read. The art style, of course, was very polished because she's got lots of experience. And I enjoyed it, and it was another great name. So I had like Kimoto Haruko and then Nozomu Hiiragi, and they're all like really big, good names in Japan for a lot of long-running series. So it was a good one. I enjoyed it a lot. It was very fast, very easy to read. The next one I read was Everyone for the First Time by Ryotaro. And then also the one afterwards, which was The Line Between Friends and Lovers. So The Line Between Friends and Lovers is actually a separate entry, but Everyone for the First Time has like three chapters, I think, of the first story, and then the next the two chapters are the same ones from The Line Between Friends and Lovers. So I read that anyway, and I much preferred The Line Between Friends and Lovers. It was a really good story about a boy who doesn't really have any male friends, even though he's kind of perfect. And he doesn't really know how to interact with boys, but he knows he wants to. And I think there's a big clue there for you. Anyway, he ends up bumping into some guy and he wants to be friends with him, and he says, I want to be friends with you, can I have a bromance? And then he's like, a what? And they just get on really well, and of course it ends up that they have feelings, they catch feelings. It's really sweet. I really enjoyed The Line Between Friends and Lovers. The art style is perfectly fine and nice, quite easy to read, and I enjoyed it. The one for Everyone for the First Time, I did not enjoy. It was a threesome one, and I should enjoy male ones. I'm okay with threesomes. But I didn't. It was kind of like, a threesome doesn't have to be as weird. It did give me chocolate strawberry vanilla vibes, but I love chocolate strawberry vanilla. Like, I love chocolate strawberry vanilla. That is in desperate need of being in my hands in a print English form. But Everyone for the First Time did not so much enjoy. It was about twins and their warpedness due to each other, and I thought that was a bit unfortunate. What I liked about chocolate strawberry vanilla was they're not twins, they're not family, they're just friends, and they're warped. They've got a warped friendship, whereas this is a warped twin, family relationship. And then another one comes in and finds, hey, you're not just one person, you're your own person, and you're your own person, and you know what, that's okay. And they're like, no, it's not. And then they have to kind of work it out. I really felt like he was a tool, and he should have been more angry at them. He really should have, there should have been consequences to their actions. A bit more, anyway. That's what I felt, anyway. So yeah, I read those, and then I went on to read the first chapter of Takaichi, I'm Being Harassed by the Sexiest Man of the Year. This has just gone up on November 27th as well. It's 5 spicy chilies. It is a very big title in Japan, so this was also a big get for Tekia in that respect. It's like a couple of years late though. The anime has been and gone, and I think a lot of people in the West anyway were like, bleh, not for me. And that's the kind of way when I think some titles get made in Japan, they already have a massive following from fans of the manga, and therefore they do okay as an anime. Whereas if it's brought over to the West as an anime without that grounding, without that backing of fans of the manga, then it's not necessarily going to do as well if the themes are not palatable to the audience. And Dakaichi is a big one, and Super Lovers is a big one. People watch these anime and they go, oh, this is trash, why are we watching this is awful, BL is awful, this is terrible. And yet they wouldn't have watched it if they had read some of the manga, or if the manga had come out before and people had been able to say, hey, this is what this is about, you might not like it, don't watch it. It kind of is like preps everyone. If you feel prepared, it's that whole brownie thing, be prepared. So don't walk into an anime without knowing what it's going to be about. It's the same thing like with that weird goblin one. Let's not talk about that. But if people are more aware of what they're going to watch, then they won't have such a visceral negative reaction. And it seemed like a lot of people had a really negative reaction to Takaichi because they weren't entirely sure about what they were going to get. And that's kind of their fault. You know, do your research. I don't watch every single anime because I check out what the tags are, or I read the synopsis and I go, nah, that's not for me. I don't watch everything and go, oh, this is all shit, because I'm not fucking stupid. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. But I'm not. So I, curate my space. I curate my media. People who just watch everything and anything and then shit on it from above, like they're much better than everyone else. And it's like, no, you were just stupid enough to watch something that's obviously not made for you. And hey, not everything is made for you. Some things might be, some things might not. Don't yuck someone else's yum. It just drives me nuts. Anyway, this is me going on a wee rant. I wasn't meant to go on a rant today. I swore, don't go on a rant today. But, I'm still not a huge fan of Dakaichi. I'm not here as a Dakaichi apologist, because I don't particularly enjoy the first chapter was only meh. I didn't really enjoy it. And the anime as well, I wasn't really a huge fan. But I think I'm going to give the manga a go and then revisit the anime to see if my opinion changes. But when other people do it and they go on about how awful certain works are, and I think, you just aren't the target audience, dude. Dude. Can you guess that I watched someone reviewing the first episode of Tri-Cornered Window, and I got mad. I got mad. I did not want to watch any, and I didn't even mean to. It just came on and I was like, what's he talking about? Oh, he's talking about this. Oh, is he, what? Is he? And he was, shitting on it from a high place, and I was like, slap you down, kiddo. Yeah. Anyway, Takaichi, I only read the first chapter. I'm gonna read it as and when I feel like it. And then eventually I will give the anime another watch and see what I think about it, because that's only fair, isn't it? I think so. So that was everything that I read in full. I did start The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I feel like this is gonna be something that I need to give some time over to, and I'm not sure how much time I can sit down and give at the moment, so I might give myself a couple of days off of reading it and then go in again and give it a proper read. Something else I started and did not finish this month. I've picked it up 2 or 3 times, and I've read a few extra pages, and then I've put it down, and I've picked it up and I've put it down, and that is The Lonely Egotist. Oh dear, it's not great. It's not great. I didn't think it was going to be, and I have to say that I do find that most of these yaoi novels that I've been reading this year, I have been very disappointed in the quality of writing. Here I just showed the House in the Cerulean Sea. Beautiful writing. And then you've got The Lonely Egotist. And the writing is not beautiful. It's not. It's clunky, and it's difficult to get through. It feels like a child's written it, and it's mainly, I'm not gonna say it, it's probably because it's the translation job at the time. And I'm not even dissing the translator, I'm just saying that at the point in time that this was translated, that's the quality of work that you're gonna get. So fingers crossed, when we get translated works of we get a better job. I'm not saying that's the case. Even now, there are translated BL works that I'm like, not sure about this translation job. And I don't know if that's a reflection on the type of writing that is the original Japanese, or if it's the amount of liberties that the translator could take, or the amount of expectation of the publisher as to how good a job the translator could do, or the editor could do, to make this more palatable for English language readers. But yeah, I'm gonna finish it. It might just take me a little bit longer, and I might end up reading it and finishing it in December. So yeah, there you go. So that was everything I read. It's around 40 titles. Technically, I think, there's a chapter here or a one-shot here, and I haven't quite finished The Lonely Egotist or The House in Cerulean Sea. But it's still around 40 again, which is good because I think I have 60 to read before the end of the year, which is a lot. So I need to read at least 2 every day in January to be able to make my 365 for the year. And honestly, I think I can probably do it because I did not do what I had set out in November, which was the Humble Bundle. I was going to do the Humble Bundle and I did not get round to it. So I'm going to do that for sure. Fingers crossed I get that done. And also I'm going to maybe do something else that I have planned and I planned for a while. It's another reading vlog. So yeah, let me know if you like my reading vlogs. They're always too long. Like this video is going to be too long as well. So yeah, I definitely think I have a few standouts from this month that I really enjoyed. Obviously, I Hear the Sunspot and Therapy Game series are physically ones that I absolutely love, but I also enjoyed The Quiet House and A Marvelous Light for my male romance audiobooks. I loved listening to them. They were really good. I don't think I had enough this month. I need some more. I need more in December. I do have my plans. I have put up, I don't think I can actually put another card up, but I'll maybe put a link to my Buzzword reads for December, and I've got not that many, but I'm gonna do the ones that I'm gonna do, and I hope that I'm gonna be able to just get them hammered out in the first week, get my buzzwords done, and maybe make a couple of videos about what I'm gonna read for next year, but also how I rate my buzzword experience this year, because it does add a lot to what I'm reading, but it does make it structured and I quite enjoy that. So yeah, I've got a few plans for next month about what I'm going to be reading in December, but I do, fingers crossed, get my goal, or at least as close to my goal as I did in 2019. I almost completed 360. I think I got 320 or 340 or something like that. So anywhere near that, I think that's a good goal to have. So yeah, this was everything in November. It was a lot again, and lots of interesting ones and fun experiences, and I do enjoy doing tag reading and stuff like that. That's quite good. So yeah, really interesting reading month. I am 365 801 and I make videos about male romance, BL, manga, yaoi, and all that good stuff. If you like this video, think about giving it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. Ring the bell to get notified when the next video is up. I do, and I have been uploading every Monday and Friday. So if you like regular uploads, I am trying to be regular. So yeah, every day is a BL day. Hope you are well, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!